Today, we're going to be talking about Diablo 4, the Lord of Hatred. There's currently a lot of videos out about this video game and how, like, you know, this is the meta, or these are the new items, or this is the new storyline, or whatever the case may be. And I wanted to talk about something a little different, and that's going to be, why does Diablo 4 now feel good? If you guys don't know much about me, in the past, I am actually an avid Diablo 4 hater. Yes, I know, I've made videos about how bad Diablo 4 was back in the beta, saying it was overhyped. But now, a couple years later, they've actually done a great job of kind of getting it together. So today, I want to talk about not so much the systems, of course, we'll touch on them, but I want to focus on something a little different, and I'm going to call that the flow of the game and how I think that truly is what's making the difference. So let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to go ahead and have to use this Warlock here because I'm actually a hardcore player, and my main died yesterday, but we had a pretty good run. That's such is life. So, okay, here we are inside the game, and the flow of the game actually starts right here with this waypoint. This city is designed perfectly, and we're gonna go through it right now. What I mean by flow, just to give you an example, and it all starts here, like I said. First off, when you first spawn into this game on this waypoint, your screen is set up so you can see the two most important things: the new feature, the war plans table, and the smith right here. And right away, your eyes go to both of them because they both have motion. This guy's swinging a hammer, this guy looks back and forth. So subconsciously, as a player, you notice them both, and you know you want to go over to both these directions. That is an awesome thing. But more than that, this area also has the stash and the cultist, as you guys know if you clicked on this video. So what we're going to do is I want to actually take a step back and look at this city as a whole. It's essentially designed in 3 rings. So if we open up the map here, you can see there's an inner ring right here, which has the immediate stuff you'll use the most often. Then there's a middle ring, which is things you may use, like a vendor. Yeah, I might need to go to the tree of the dead, whispers of the dead, you know, and things like that. And then finally, there's a third level of the ring, which is out here. So it's very much designed to be most common, kind of common, and least commonly used, and that is what makes it such a good design choice. There's no like, let me run down the stairs and around a building and over here just to get to some vendor. It's all just conveniently located for you to get as needed. In addition to that, with them making everything so centralized, as you can tell, the world feels more full, which was always kind of the goal of Diablo 4, was to have more of an MMO feeling with other players all throughout the world. This design, as you can see, there's players everywhere, makes it feel that way, makes people want to show off their gear and care what the character looks like. Just overall, it's a great design choice to make the game feel and flow better. Like, look how badass this guy looks. I wonder what that cost. Anyways, but it goes further than just the city. Let's go ahead and look at the war table itself. The flow of the war table is actually really done really well. So if we go over to the war plans here on the left, we all clicked on this and you just sort of went, okay, I get it. You click here and here, then here, and you go down, right? We all did that. But more so what I want to point on is how it is a vertical design. And I say that's a big deal because we've been using vertical skill trees since Diablo 2. So them adding one here just seemed like natural progression to you and to them. There's no like startling thought of like, how does this work? You just started clicking like, oh, it's easy and it makes sense. A simple change of making this horizontal would have actually made it more confusing. And that's what I mean by flow that people don't realize. A good example of something like this being horizontal is actually Last Epoch's skill system. It's very simple, but it's a horizontal build, so it does startle you at first. They did a great job of keeping the same flow, which you expect, because that's the same flow you've had in skill trees. That's the same flow we have now in this skill tree. It goes down just like that. In addition to that, they also did a great job of adding every single skill tree to every in-game feature inside the war table. It's not another system you have to learn. It's just built directly inside the table here, and then it's broken into these tabs so it doesn't feel overwhelming. This system right here, all these different tabs, are essentially the same thing you have in Path of Exiles for their end game. It's just not on one giant map, so you don't feel as overwhelmed, which I think was a great idea when you look at the kind of player base they have. And that's the first thing I wanted to touch on, was just the flow of the game feels better. But it's not just the flow. In addition to that, the next biggest thing I think the change they've made is player choice. And what I mean by player choice is nothing feels locked down. If you want to play a Hammer Paladin, go ahead. If you want to play like a Zeal Paladin, go ahead. If you want to play any kind of Warlock, go ahead. They went and they redesigned every single skill tree here. And if you guys haven't looked yet, I assume you have checked on the video, but they all kind of look like this now. Of course, this is the Warlock, so it's going to look a little different. But overall, this is the layout of all of them now. They've all been refreshed and redesigned. And what Blizzard did is they kind of just overtuned everything. But that's okay. That's actually exactly what players want. We want to move in a good pacing, so a little bit faster, and see big numbers. It's not a hard equation. No one is asking them to reinvent the wheel. So they did just that. They made it opened up so players can play what they want. The next thing they did was they brought back sets, which is a long requested feature. And they did it in such a unique and good way. So inside Diablo 3 here, sets were actually gear pieces. So you needed to have an AP set to get the full set, and it really got rid of the aspect of trying to find that, like, oh shit, this is an awesome item, right? It got rid of that because you had to have a gear set on. Well, they were able to find a way to keep that feeling inside the game so you still feel good grinding gear and still get the set bonuses by adding the charms into the game. It was actually an awesome way to implement something like that. Again, giving players choice of what gear they want to wear on their different builds, plus getting the different set bonuses if they choose to. Furthermore, they brought back the cube, and the cube has been something that people have wanted for a long time. It's in the other Diablos, as you guys know, but this one is essentially their selective crafting system. And what I mean by that is this only has 3 affixes on it. Let's say I wanted to add a 4th. I can click add a random 1, and then I can transmute, and it'll give me a random 4th affix, so this item isn't wasted if I like the other 3. In addition to that, you can do stuff like, you know, you can pick which kind of affix is on it. You can come over here to consumables, and let's say I wanted to make it so it had a resource affix on it. I can simply add that, and we can add a resource affix to this ring. You can also make things legendary and different things like that. So it's a selective crafting system. Now, these are pretty standard in ARPGs today, but this is just Blizzard's version, and it's kind of cool to see because although players love to bitch about not having control over what kind of items they're getting or the stats on those items, that's actually the foundation of an ARPG. So it's a delicate balance of implementing them where you give players control, but you're not undermining the entire game that is built on RNG from the very beginning. Finally, with the flow of the city and the war plans feeling nice and players deciding what stats are on their gear and what builds they play, the next thing they changed that really matters was the difficulty system. Now, I understand adding 16 torments makes this feel like Diablo 3. I don't think anyone could disagree with that, but it was a genius move by Blizzard. Diablo 4 team is fully aware of the players that play their game, and the vast majority of them are not me making YouTube videos. They're casual players that don't have the time commitment to commit to something like PoE, or maybe the desire to do that. So with them lowering the bar to entry, it allows your more casual players to feel like they're still progressing and going into harder content, and then having your top end players be able to go into tier 16 and really push the line. And last season they added leaderboard, so if you're a true sweatball like myself, you can start putting yourself on here to see how you stack up, and that is such an awesome feature. Now, when you combine all 3 of these, that's when the magic happens. We now have a world that feels full with a good flow. I get to decide what kind of class I'm playing and what my build's going to be, and it still is relevant. And then I get to decide the stats. And once I have all those decisions made, I can then come over here to the leaderboards and see how good I stack up against other builds. And that's where the magic happens, when you start bringing all 3 of those together. Anyways, guys, that's all I really wanted to say on this video. If you like this kind of content, please let me know and subscribe. It's a newer channel, and it's literally the only way I know. So if you guys want to see more of this, let me know below, and I will happily make more. Until then, I will see you in the next one. PSA, if you guys don't know, they actually added a loot filter, which is absolutely awesome, but they decided to bury it in the depths of the gameplay options. So if you want to use it, simply click on, you know, enable loot filter shortcut in game menu, and then open it, and you can set it all up however you want. But more importantly, when you click that, it's right here, so you don't have to go through all the menus again. All right, see you.